Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. This Toro rear bagger 21-inch machine I had picked up from one of my scrappers in Myakka City, Florida. I had actually seen this on the side of the road prior to that. I'm going to change the name of the street. I found it onto Lawn Mower Lane because I had picked up two other machines from the same street. I came upon this one but didn't have the time or the space to take it with me. I went back after dark and it was gone. I had a hunch that the Myakka City scrapper had grabbed it. I know the territory he covers. So a few weeks later he called and said, "Hey, I got three for you." I went out and here was the Toro. He had snatched it up during the afternoon. Anyway, I believe this is a 1987 Suzuki engine overhead valve. So it's in pretty rough condition. I just looked at the controls. The blade control is not working. The throttle cable is stuck. And the ground speed cable is stuck in second gear. So this thing has quite a few issues. When I initially got this thing, the recoil was not engaging. I took that off already and lubed up the inside of the recoil mechanism, got rid of some of the rust, and now it pulls over. So it has the same setup as you would find on a Honda. You would start it from the side. There's actually a footrest there on the deck for you to put your foot down. So it was missing the oil cap. I have a Briggs & Stratton cap just to put over the hole so the oil doesn't blow out of there when we try to start it, if it will try to start. It's in pretty rough condition, I'll show you. There was no oil in the unit. I put some oil in it and I used a piece of wire to bottom out the wire and see how much oil was in it. So I took the spark plug off just to see the condition of that. I'll show you. Plug is very wet and there was a big gobber here between the electrode, on top of the electrode. So it was moist. I'm going to wire brush it and put it back on and see what we can do. But before I do that, I had popped the air cleaner off to see what kind of condition that was in. I looked down the throat of the intake and there was some water in there. The remaining residue, if you look down into the throat of the carb, you can see it's all red and rusty. So I went ahead and took the bowl off, the carburetor bowl, and I'll show you that. I don't know if there's going to be parts availability for this thing. I haven't looked, but it's going to take too much to rectify. Here's what the bottom of the bowl looks like. So this is what I'm dealing with the Suzuki. All that just popped out of the bottom. So I'm going to try to start this with Happy Juice just to see if it fires off. But with a carburetor this bad, it's going to be difficult to clean, and if I have to replace parts are probably unavailable for an 87 Suzuki. So let me wire brush the plug for a second. I'll put that back on and happy juice this thing. Nitro. So I don't know why I'm wasting my time with this. It's so far gone, but I just wanted to see if I could get it to fire off. Just going to wire brush the plug. Get rid of some of that snot. Yeah, there's a lot of moisture blowing out of this thing. So there could be some moisture still in the cylinder. I'm just going to pull on it one or two times, see what pops out of the cylinder head. Okay, the inside of the cylinder looked moist, so we might not have any success with this thing. I gave it a double dose. Wow. That was kind of surprising. I figured with all the moisture in the cylinder that would have killed the deal. Kind of surprised about that firing off like it did. It did sound pretty good too, and it ran for a bit, which was shocking. And I didn't lose much oil out of it. The dipstick cap there was jumping up and down with the compression. Well, there you have it, kids. An 87 Suzuki still's got a little life left in it. Live Oak Lawn Supply, Sarasota, Florida. They sold a good unit back in 1987. So, like I said, I got 3 rusty cables. This thing's got mold all over it. It probably sat behind somebody's shed. Maybe one of the cables stopped working. They couldn't use the machine. I don't know what finally killed this thing. But as you saw, the engine fired off. It's got compression. As far as rectifying the carburetor, I would try to see if they have any aftermarket carbs for this Suzuki. Suzuki isn't known for their small engines on lawn mowers. They're a motorcycle company. I don't know how they got the contract with Toro. They were probably the low-cost leader in 1987. But after that, Toro's been using everybody else under the sun, depending on what kind of price they can get for the engines. Anyway, somebody had asked about the 87 Suzuki, so I thought I'd spend some time on it today. Now I got to get back into the newer units. This is the oldest thing in my collection. I thought I had another one, but the commercial units I have all have Briggs & Stratton engines on them. They're newer units, probably from the early 90s to mid 90s. This is the only Suzuki unit I have. Anyway, kind of surprised this thing wanted to run. Really surprised. I figured with all that moisture that had got it into the cylinder, this thing would have been crapped out. Anywho, appreciate you kids and cadets checking out this 87 Toro with me. "70 degrees in Southwest Florida. Great day to be outside. I'm going to tinker with some other machines. Come back and see me. Appreciate you liking and subscribing. Thanks again.